Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the myth of Aries, which I'm super excited about. It's a really fun myth. I'm going to put the glyph or the symbol for Aries up here. So when you see this symbol, if you are into astrology, you're reading a chart, I want you to remember these stories and how they associate to the meaning of the zodiac sign Aries. Now, a lot of people don't even know that much about zodiac signs because they weren't really used that much in ancient astrology. But there's this awesome book called Star Tales. I recommend getting it. This astronomer learns all of the history. He was like the only one that knows the history of the constellations. So super cool. So it relates to Jason and the Argonauts and their adventure, but there was a story before that. So basically, there was this king Athamas, and he was married to Nephilim, and he was not feeling so hot about their marriage. He was like, not feeling it. So he was like, forget you. I'm going to go marry this lady named Ino. And Ino was not feeling her stepchildren. She really didn't like them. So there was a son named Phrixus, stepson named Phrixus, another stepdaughter named Helle. And so this is really gruesome. Ino decided that she wanted to off her stepchildren. So she blanched or like parched or whatever the wheat crops. She basically took the seeds and like blanched them, like she boiled them. Like she recommended it. She made up some story about how like she got a dream that the crops would grow if you blanched the seeds. So she had everybody plant this crop. They didn't grow, and it created a famine and a lot of panic. And so she made up another story of like, oh, I have a vision of we have to sacrifice the stepchildren. We have to sacrifice Phrixus, specifically the stepson, and basically off him, if you know what I mean, in the biblical sense. So she's gonna murder her stepson, and just in time, Nephili, like I guess she was like in heaven then. She sent down a golden fleece, this heavenly golden fleece, to come and rescue Phrixus and his sister Helle. So this golden fleece brought them all the way out to the land of Colchis, where King Aedes was. Unfortunately, Helle didn't make it. She actually fell from the fleece and perished. She died. So it didn't turn out too well, but she's supposed to be like, that's where Hellespont is, like a place that you can find. And so Phrixus was saved. He grew up, but he haunted the king Peleus because Peleus decided to keep this golden fleece. And like this is in another land where he ended up. And he stole the throne from Jason and the Argonauts. So Jason, he went through this whole thing where he had to prove that he was really the rightful owner of the throne, where Peleus had taken over, which was this different king who was like related to all these guys. These Greek myths go back and forth, so stay with me here. So basically, Jason went to Peleus. So Jason was like, hey, I'm the rightful owner, of this throne. And Peleus is like, okay, but to prove it, you have to go get the golden fleece from King Aedes. So he was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And he got all of the soldiers and all of the warriors that he could. So Aries is associated with the sign of the warrior. And he was like, hey guys, you want to go on this like adventure with me to get this golden fleece? And without thinking, all of these soldiers were like, yeah, let's go and fight. Let's go and do it. And that, I think, is the soul of Aries and what Aries means. It's that, yeah, we're going to start it. We're going to go and do it. Aries starts things. It fights for things. It's the sign associated with the start of the spring and where we just go and the seeds, things start sprouting up. So that symbol is associated with a ram's head, but it's also associated with like a fountain spurting up, this like sense of virility and fighting and the warrior. So these warriors went with Jason. They went through all of these adventures. A lot of them perished. They went and acted without thinking. And then Jason gets to King Aedes, where the golden fleece is, that same golden fleece that brought Phrixus to safety. And he was like, hey, give me my golden fleece. And Aedes wasn't feeling it. So luckily, the maiden Medea, or the princess Medea, fell in love with Jason. And she was a sorceress and she helped Jason out. And she basically murdered her dad and had basically, you know, like put a spell on him and he perished. It's pretty gruesome, these Greek myths. So Jason was able to get away with the fleece and he was able to overtake Peleus, but I believe there Medea again had to come up with something gruesome where Peleus was murdered by his children. Whole nasty story. But when you think of Aries, you think of this golden fleece of bravery and also the rightful ownership of the throne. Aries is associated with being a leader with the kings. It's exalted in the sign of the sun. And so the sun represents leadership and kings. And so Aries is associated with fighting for your rightful place in the world and your sovereignty and the right to rule over your life. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this myth of Aries. And my next video is going to be on Taurus.